7 o'clock. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cicero Jackson Township Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for December 18th, 2025. The time is 7 p.m. And we'll start with a roll call of members. My name is Scott Bukowski. Mike Berry.
Present.
Harrison Masani.
Present.
Steve Zell.
Here.
Mark Thomas. Let the record show that Mark Thomas is absent this evening. Our legal counsel, Aaron Culp.
Present.
And our planning director, Frank Zawatsky.
Present.
Thank you for recording tonight, Terry Strong. With the amount of members present, I can declare that we do have a quorum, and we will move to approval of the minutes from November 20th, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I have a correction from last month's discussion that's written in the minutes on the Valmont communication. The person in there is referred to as Ryan Whiteley or Whitley is really Ryan Horane. It's Horine. So that's just a.
There were two Ryans here that night. Just Harin is the 911
Yes.
guy for the county. Whitley is the guy that represents the tower company.
Okay.
Do you mean?
No, I don't. I didn't pick up on the fact that there were two Ryans. I knew there was a. Okay.
I think you're correct then.
I stand corrected then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zell.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, if that's okay, to move ahead and approval of the minutes as submitted for our November 20th meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Zell.
Mr. Chairman, it's Mike Berry. I second that.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. All in favor of approving the minutes from November 20th, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Those minutes are approved. We're going to move on to old business here in just a second. I wanted to just inform everybody that the BZA is a quasi-judicial branch of the local government. The board will be discussing items listed on the docket and issues or stipulations to consider for each item that's on the docket. All comments and questions should be directed toward the board and its members as opposed to other members of the audience. Attendants must sign in if they're planning to speak this evening. The sign-in sheet is at the door. Each attendant must state their name and address for the record upon visiting the podium. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes speaking at the podium. Each item on the docket typically has a portion of the discussion set aside for public hearing. If a person wishing to speak is in agreement with someone who's already spoken, it's not necessary to completely restate those points in their entirety. It's only necessary to agree with the other person's statement and move on in the interest of time. All of our motions will be made in an affirmative, but that doesn't mean that that's the way that we'll vote. So again, the first two items are separate items. We will vote on them separately, but I'm going to read both of them in to the record tonight at the same time, and we're going to discuss them together.
I'll need to untable. Too.
Yes, and we'll need to untable these because they are old business. Do I have a motion to untable these items before I start reading them in?
Mr. Chairman, Steve Zell, make a motion that we untable the business from November 20th regarding BZA is number 57 and 58 on the docket numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Zell.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chairman, this is Mike Berry. I second that.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. All in favor of untabling the old items of business for tonight, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. The first item is docket number BZA-1125-57-DC, Garland Atelier Wellness and Spa and Apothecary. The property address is 95 West Jackson Street, Cicero, Indiana, 46034. We have a train going by. It's a development standards variance application that's been submitted regarding the property located at 95 West Jackson Street in Cicero, Indiana, 46034, concerning Article 10.9, downtown commercial sign standards of the Cicero Jackson Township zoning ordinance to allow 4 window signs in the front facade of a building, where Article 10.9 of the Cicero Jackson Township zoning ordinance states that the maximum allowable number of window signs shall be 2. That's the first item. The second one is docket number BZA-1125-58-DC. The same petitioner at the same address concerning Article 10.9 of the Downtown Commercial Sign Standards of Cicero Jackson Township Ordinance to allow the area of window signs in the front facade of a building to be 24 square feet, whereas Article 10.9 of the Cicero Jackson Township Zoning Ordinance states that the maximum allowable area of window signs shall be 20 square feet. Would the petitioner step up and let us know what you've got planned? There you are.
Hi. What do you want me to say?
Just tell us what your plan is. And
Oh, the
we
plan-
we have it in writing, but we just want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so as you can see on the screen, the door, the entrance into the space, it's in an alcove, which may not show realistically on that picture, but it kind of sets back into there. So that's the only reason why we were adding any signage into the transom window and the door, and that it would have our hours and telephone number and email address, I believe, on there. And then the front just states Garland's Atelier Wellness Spa and Apothecary, the name of the business, with our logo in the eyebrow window above. And then a sign extending from the building, which we're already approved on. That one will illuminate. It's an LED sign. So
Which one illuminates?
the one extending from the building, the pill-shaped sign hanging
hanging
from the
from the
rod.
chain.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
It looks very nice.
Thank you.
I think it has a nice look and feel, balanced look too, in terms of the size of window you're dealing with there in the front especially.
I had some good help
Mhm.
and designer work.
And it did receive aesthetic approval from the planning commission.
Yes.
Okay, so this has already been before the
Correct.
PC. Okay, okay. I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Straightforward.
And with that, I can entertain motions to open this portion of the meeting to the public.
Mr. Chairman, Steve Zell, I'll make a motion now that we open our meeting to the public on these two specific dockets.
Thank you, Mr. Zell.
Second by Harrison Masani.
Thank you, Mr. Mastani. All in favor of opening to the public for these two items on the docket, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this portion of the meeting is open to the public. If anybody would like to speak to these two items on the docket, please step up and state your name and address for the record. All right, the record show that no one stepped up, and I will entertain a motion to close to the public.
Mr. Chairman, Steve Zell will make a motion now to close our meeting to the public on these two dockets.
Thank you, Mr. Zell.
Second that motion, Harrison Masani.
Thank you, Mr. Masani. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the public portion of the meeting is closed for these two items. Board member comments or questions or concerns?
Man, it looks very tasteful. Hard to believe that used to be my barber shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. It looks fantastic. I think
Very
that
nice.
it matches
It's-
what we're going for
It's a nice
downtown.
upscale look too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Inside today, and they're done painting, and our lights are up, and it was all transformed.
Yeah.
I think it looks great. I don't have any concerns.
No concerns.
Mr. Berry, Mr. Masani,
No.
anything? Okay. All right, with that, we do have to take them and vote on them one at a time, but I can entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, Harrison Masani, moving to approve docket number BZA-1125-57-DC.
Thank you, Mr. Masani.
Chairman, this is Mike Berry, I second that.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. We'll have a roll call vote. I'm Scott Bukowski. I approve. Mike Berry.
I approve.
Harrison Masani.
Approve.
Steve Zell.
Approve.
All right, that one's passed. We'll move on to the second one.
Mr. Chairman, Harrison Masani here, moving to approve docket number BZA-1125-58-DC.
Thank you, Mr. Masani.
Chairman, this is Mike Berry, I second that.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. We'll have a roll call vote. Steve Zell.
I approve.
Harrison Masani.
Approve.
Mike Berry.
I approve.
And I'm Scott Bukowski. I approve. Congratulations. Thank you for doing your diligence to go through this process with us.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you.
We'll move on to the new item on the docket for this evening is BZA-1225-59-R5. The petitioner is Drew Hunter. The property or address is 49 North Peru Street in Cicero, Indiana 46034. It's a land use variance request application that's been submitted concerning Article 3.10 of the Cicero-Jackson Township zoning ordinance.
Thank you.
In order to allow a plumbing business with additional rental space in the R5 residential district, whereas a plumbing business with additional rental space is not permitted use nor a special exception use in the R5 residential district. Would the petitioner please stand up? Welcome, and just let us know what you've got planned. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Drew Hunter. As stated, I live at 590 South Pearl Street, and we are trying to purchase, or have purchased, 49 North Peru Street. The pictures and the packets that I've handed out to you are laid out in the design of how they would be built, essentially. So the first picture you see there is the street view picture of the house and what it looks like now. We currently own from the stop sign there, if you will, to Cass Street to the north. So that's that little block right there. The plan would be to tear the house down. There's a detached garage behind it, to tear that down and to build a roughly 50 by 100 pole barn, if you will. But we don't want to build just any pole barn. We'd like to build something that is very similar, so that you guys have reference to it in the past. Would be something like what Prater's Concrete has done. Something with a nice front facade, cedar front porch, black metal roof, black windows, things like that, to try and keep the look that the town is going for, if you will. So with that said, we have been searching for a little over 5 years. We've been in business since 2020, and we've been searching for property all around Hamilton County, and not just Cicero. We'd love to be in Cicero, and we're glad we're here. But just one of those things that we're exploring our options, because there's not much around here that was for sale at the time.
Yeah.
So come to find this place, and we think it's a great fit for us to be there. We're a small company. We've got 3 full-time employees, 2 trucks, and the idea is not that this would be open to the public, but to have space to have our just everyday office stuff going on for what we do, and just storing our trucks and our equipment, things like that. We don't plan to be there all hours of the day. We'd like to be, typically we get started about 7:15 in the morning, and we're usually back by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, that's not to say that there aren't times that we do on-call and things like that, so I might be in there at 10, 11 o'clock at night helping somebody, but we're not going to be truly there working all hours of the night and things like that. We are not open to the public, so we won't be having anybody but maybe a couple clients here or there if they happen to pop in and pay a bill or something like that, but nothing. We don't plan to have a plumbing showroom or any of that stuff. It's just more of office space and storage for us. One of the things that I talk about in the paper that you have is that I see a potential for other small businesses that I became friends with and business partners, that they are in the same boat I am, and they've had a hard time finding places to have their business as well, and they live here in Cicero locally or Noblesville, and they'd like to have space to rent. So on your packet and the pictures, as you can see, there's 4 doors on the back of it. That might be a potential to be a 5th door, depending on how we lay out the inside of it, but we'd like to be able to rent space so that another small company like myself might be able to store equipment or material or things like that, and be able to reap the benefit of what we had to go through and be able to rent space from us at that point. I'm also would ask that, if you guys approve it, that you put the variance and lock it in with the land, so that if I was ever sell it, it stays with the property, and maybe adds a little value that way, so that if somebody were to ever buy it, then it's already approved for commercial use, if you will. Some things about it. On the right side there in the front door, it's kind of like our walk-in area and your greeting area or whatnot. It's a very similar layout to the way Prater's did it. I love their building. It's a great, simple, got some office spaces, things like that, and a little hangout spot to come in and just greet you type deal. We've got a couple bathrooms in there, and even a laundry spot for us to wash our towels and dry towels and things like that for the guys. On the top floor there where the windows are in that small section, right now that would just probably be a mezzanine. But that's potential growth for us later that we see. If we needed more office space, we would add on above that to then let those be office spaces for us inside. So there's only a couple offices in there. What you're looking at in the bottom right corner, I tried to label it on there for you. So the alleyway is right at the bottom right where his mouse is. That represents the alley in the before picture that you see and what it looks like today. And then Cass Street is there to the north, up there by the old Gas America. So with that said, I mean, I've grown up in Cicero my entire life, went to school here. My whole family's been involved and myself as far as not just living here, but helping and volunteering and doing things in the community. I am a Hamilton Heights grad. I have since been able to work with the co-op program at Hamilton Heights, as I was a part of it myself, and that's how I got started in my own business. I'd leave school early, same thing, these kids are coming to work for me. So I've had the opportunity to have at least 3 of them. 2 of them had stuck it out, and they're still doing plumbing. One of them still works for me, and one of them has moved on to a different company. But I'm proud to say that I'd like to continue to grow that and have those kids still come work for us and to keep bringing jobs to Cicero and keeping it local and things like that. So we're proud to be able to say we do that. We try to donate every year to as many things around the town as we can, as far as Lights Over Morse Lake, Cicero Parks Department. We try to do all those things, and we hope to continue to keep growing that, the Haunted Trail, all those fun things. And lastly, we're not in it to turn a dollar in and make a buck. I see us being here for as long as I'm alive. So, I don't ever see us selling this in the foreseeable future, and we really would love to be in downtown Cicero and be next to all the other businesses that you guys already know are there. But yeah, I think it would be a good fit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Board member questions?
If approved, does this go before the Plan Commission, Mr.?
It would
Okay, that's right.
need to go for the
Okay.
Plan Commission for the aesthetic review.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay. It is an attractive building, I'll say that.
Thank you.
It's very, very attractive.
And I believe Frank, no offense, doesn't have the updated version up there. We added a dumpster on the back.
I was gonna
side.
ask, that's one of the questions I
Yes.
had, is a just,
Yep.
not that that's a part of our
Yep.
land use variance request, but I was just
Yeah,
curious.
so the dumpster's on the back.
That's always the question, and it's always kind of
Yep, and we have that.
part of the ugly part of the outside of any building.
Yep, right where that's right where.
Yeah, I
the
see
little
it now,
fence.
I see it.
And I have water heaters and stuff too that the old ones we bring back.
Oh, yeah.
That would go in that fenced in area as well.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
aesthetically trying to keep it looking good and
Yeah.
things like that. So,
And if you brought a partner in or someone that wanted to rent some of the space, then
yes.
those people obviously would want to.
Yeah,
would want
need a
to-
dumpster
It'd be
space and-
upon,
Yep.
put that illness upon them to, hey, let's keep things nice and clean and neat and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So if, upon approval, when would you, I mean, you
like-
gotta tear down obviously the current, the
Yep.
detached garage and the old house, and so how long a period of time, once you'd like to be done by a certain time?
We'd love to be in the next year or two to be done with that. Now, if
Okay.
I had it my way and, recoup some money and things like that, we'd do it even sooner.
Yeah.
But there's also a possibility that we've even talked that because the house is not fixable and things like
Yeah.
that, it's deceiving. It looks great on the outside. On the
Yeah, it
inside,
does look
it's-
pretty decent.
On
yeah.
the inside, it's, let's just say bad, in a nice way.
Yeah.
So with that, we talked about even maybe we tear the house down and leave the detached garage for a little bit, and just use it for
For
our
storage and
personal
stuff, yeah.
storage, things like that, nothing
Yeah.
crazy. Just to be able to
Mhm.
not have an insurance issue or to worry about people in the community thinking that the house is getting to look worse or something like that.
Sure.
So we've talked
Yeah.
about different options with that. Yep.
I have a couple, 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
Your size says 50 by 100,
Mhm.
or maybe 120 feet.
Yes.
How tall will that building be with the second story
I
on it?
believe it's 28 feet, 30 feet, something like that. I know that we tried to stay, I was looking at the different districts, and Frank and I had talked that we tried to stay
We're
below that.
okay?
Yeah.
All right. Couple other questions. You said there will be plumbing and stuff in there for laundry and things like that.
Yep.
Any type of living quarters in the building?
No, sir. No living
Whatsoever.
quarters, just office space, maybe a couple bathrooms. We were thinking one bathroom, maybe more for the office side, and then one for the guys to dirty it up.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
So,
okay, yeah.
yeah. And we've got there's a side door there that, on both sides, so that employees can come in and out. And then obviously the front door is more for the general public if they did decide to come in there type deal.
Now, I think I read in here, you're not planning on any retail business, no regular customers. This is just a
Correct.
place where you make your plans and then you make your runs out
Yep.
and store your equipment and supplies in there.
Absolutely, yes. So just basically everyday stuff of guys coming to get their stuff, grab their trucks, park their personal vehicles, and then they grab the box trucks and then go out to work from there.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, now you also mentioned that you want to potentially rent out a space.
Yes, sir.
And with your drawing there, you've got 4 garage doors. Are you talking about like one set or 2 or 3?
Yeah, so depending on what said person would want for their business type deal, I personally think I'll probably use 2. I have 2 trucks right now. I think I would use 2. The reason I talked about a 5th door was like in that section where it's kind of blank there, that kind of backs up to the side of like the bathrooms and the offices, so it's not a full bay, if you will. So we talked about if maybe I put another bay there, I could use a half a bay for storage for my own stuff. But if we did rent space, it'd probably be like a full bay. You get 1 garage door and you rent that full bay front to back, and rent that storage space. And we'd probably take security measures to have door codes and things like that for each person so that they could access it without us having to let them in every time or whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you rent out part of the building,
Mm-hmm.
they would be under the same guidance that you would be as to, there would not be any retail business?
Correct, yes.
associated
My
with
goal
it?
would be to rent it only to construction businesses that maybe do bathroom remodels. Like, for instance, I have a company right now that I work with daily that they do a lot of bathroom remodels. They do a lot of like additions on homes and things like that. And they would love to just be able to park their trucks and then store like lumber or cabinetry or things like that, and just to keep it out of the weather and stock it for their next job type deal. And they might do some cabinetry inside there, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. 90% of the work is done on the job site. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
So just from an appearance standpoint,
Yes, sir.
it'd be the idea would be your trucks and stuff at night would be parked inside.
That would be the
Your
general.
renter would would be
Yep.
encouraged to do the same thing. Okay.
That would be my general
Okay.
goal, is to try and park everything inside that I have. Given that we might have a trailer or something as we grow or something like that,
Yeah.
but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. That's not here now, so I don't want to speak that into existence. But yes, the goal would be if you rent, you're coming here to do work and get your material and park inside.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Sure.
So,
Looks nice.
thank you.
That's all I can say. That's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anything else from the board for the petitioner?
Frank and I did talk. We don't have a sign put on it. If you would look at the front there, we would talk about maybe doing something there, but I didn't want to cross that bridge yet because we talked about doing an LED sign. So again, that was something that we'd do later. It was more about just getting approval for the business and the shop and then trying to worry about a sign later.
But you may be asked about that in the plan commission.
Yeah,
Should
yep.
all this get approved?
Yep.
So that would be a
So-
logical place where that would come up.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
you'll
good to
get-
know that.
You'll get that, and you'll have to have 457 trees per parking space and things like that. You'll
That's
find
right.
out about that
Yep.
a little bit later, but,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to remind the board that we're talking tonight just about,
I know.
we're not really talking about the aesthetics of it,
No.
but we're just talking about the land use variance.
Yes.
Mr. Zawadzki, I don't know if you have the ability to pull up the new maps of things, because I don't feel like this area is considered mixed use like the rest of its neighbors are down the street there. Up and down 19 doesn't have that past basically where Iris Rubber is, it looks like to me. Is that accurate? Does it stay residential on number 49 there and on down 19?
Well, the current zoning is R5 from this parcel up to the old Case shop that they did a rezone. As far as the comp plan, which is what I think you're asking about, we show this as a mixed use residential and small business area.
Okay. So it rhymes with that plan then as far as what we're looking toward the future with.
It does.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything else for you, sir. Thank you for
No,
that.
you're fine. Thank you.
We'll entertain a motion to open to the public for this item. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Steve Zell, I'd like to make a motion to open our meeting to the public on this particular docket.
Thank you, Mr. Zell. Thank you, Mr. Berry. All in favor of opening up to the public for this item on the docket, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this portion of the meeting is open to the public. If anyone would like to speak, please step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record and let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you, sir.
My name is Jim Hunter, and I live at 930 Washington Avenue. I just want to say that regardless of the affiliation with Drew tonight and my relationship, even if it weren't for that, I do believe from my many years of living here in town and being employed here that the town needs to look for directions to expand the business district in various ways. If you think about Jackson Street and the corridor, there's really no place there to expand. And I'm not sure that that makes a lot of sense. There's not an easy way to expand to the south unless we start tearing down properties and things. I think expanding to the north, that corridor through there only makes sense because of some other businesses that are directly across the street now. The old B&C Motors and a couple of I guess the spa place there across the street, things like that. I think it's only a natural progression to expand to the north, and I think that this project would also be an improvement to the area and take care of a blighted property. So I just believe that even without any relationship to Drew whatsoever, I think it's a good project for the town, even if it were another company trying to propose the same thing there. And I think it's interesting that nobody's here tonight to speak against it, or apparently not to speak against it. So I normally when those letters go out, if people get their feathers ruffled, they're the first ones to be here. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Anything to read in, Mr. Zwoski? All set?
No, sir.
Alrighty.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we now close our meeting to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Zell. Thank you, Mr. Masani. All in favor of closing this portion of the meeting to the public, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this portion of the meeting is closed to the public. Board member comments?
I just say I have to agree with Mr. Hunter, both Mr. Hunters, that this would be, I think, a nice addition to our business side of things here in town, and obviously they put effort into having a really nice frontage, and again, it's a good business, and I don't see any problems myself. That's my own personal, not speaking for the board, but I think it's a good move.
Thank you, sir.
I have a few thoughts. So the comp plan, I think it shows medium density housing on the east side of Peru Street, north of Iris Rubber. That's what I think it shows. And then the Iris Rubber is noted as downtown mixed use. So if I go to downtown mixed use in this comp plan, just as a comparison, because I think that land should, I think commercial makes sense. I just want to make sure that it's just fitting with like the future of town and our growth. So medium density residential, that's not it. Give me a minute. Okay, so downtown mixed use. The purpose of this downtown mixed-use district is to foster maintenance, reuse, or redevelopment of aging commercial centers while adapting to shifts in consumer preferences. Revitalize and repurpose aging, vacant, declining commercial buildings, which all checks out with what's going on. Talks about Pearl Street and Peru Street, so that all checks out. Talks about like the types that should go there. The only thing that I have concern with, I think the building looks awesome, by the way, so don't take offense to this. We just had that petitioner that came in a few meetings ago for the garage across, not the way necessarily. I just worry about the aesthetics of this, like being downtown, 28 feet, pole barn, and I guess what it does to the downtown characteristics. I know it's across the street, really, but it's still part of it. For the petition tonight, I don't really have an issue with, I guess, the commercial change. I just want to make sure you know my opinion on the aesthetics. So.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Mr. Barry, anything? I just want to remind everyone that we're talking about a land use variance, and we're not into the aesthetics of it yet. I prefer not to use the term pole barn, because I don't think that actually fits this, and it might offend some people. The term building, it looks like a building to me, and that's the way I view this. The materials used to build it. If it's poles, that's one thing, but this looks more like a building to me.
If I may, the only reason I said to give it a reference to what you guys can look back on is Prater and Sons Concrete, and if you wanted to pull up the Google images from that, it's basically a replica of designing of what they did, essentially, if you wanted to.
I really appreciate that, but I don't think you have to worry about that tonight, because we're just talking
But
about
that's
whether
good
you
to
can
know,
have a
though.
business there tonight.
It's good to know.
So we're not there yet in any way, shape, or form, but the map that we are looking at right now does not look like the map that I thought was in there. I have some other version of it, so this is helpful.
Yeah, it is.
This is from the comp plan.
Yeah.
Mr. Masani is correct. That little district right there is residential.
That purple is residential.
This looks brown to me, but
Brown.
on the east side of Peru, yeah.
I'm with the member of the public tonight that stated that corridor is more commercial to me than it is residential, or the thought process from a planning standpoint. So I personally,
I agree.
I understand.
Caught me by
I understand
surprise.
what Mr. Masani is saying too,
Yeah.
that it's lined out as being residential, but for this instance, in this case, and we treat them all different, I think it fits. So
I do too. It's Old Town versus New Town.
that's just
Kind
my
of
thoughts.
situation. We're
Yeah.
21st century now, and things are.
Is there so going with a variance, land use variance versus a rezone? Because we do a land use variance for commercial, what standards in here do they fall under for building out of the commercial ordinances?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So if we just approve their land use variance tonight, which commercial district would they fall under for compliance?
None. They would,
They'd still have to meet the underlying zoning, the residential district. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
The one condition I would just mention, based upon some of the questions the board asked, as well as what the petitioner said, was maybe if you wanted to be approved for non-retail business, because I think that's consistent with his plans, and also we avoid a situation if we're worried about the parking and other things there, because I think that's part of our calculation on approving a business there is if we're not going to have a showroom, we're not going to have
Right.
lots of people coming.
A lot of
and
traffic,
going.
I
yeah.
think I'd rather a showroom there so people come look at the finishes and then eat at 10 West.
So, yeah, that's exactly what my thoughts were too. I think that if we're saying a land use variance and the use is gonna be a plumbing business, that I don't wanna put handcuffs on them as far as limiting them to what kind of business that equates to plumbing, you know, because that's what this is, what the statement is, plumbing. I don't know.
Are you saying that in our motion, if we were to say that there would be no retail operations there, that's a concern you have, or, you know, putting that, maybe a handcuff?
Yeah, I don't know that we need to state that, but I understand what
Yeah.
Mr. Culp is saying. If that's
Yeah,
a
I do too.
concern that we have with retail being there, then I'm open to that thought process too, I suppose.
And the
but-
petitioners asked that the variance would go with the property, you know, not just with the owner.
Yeah, and
So,
I understand that request, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
However, that is a tool that we have used in the past to
Mhm.
re-examine things. When those sorts of things come up, in case something's not the way that doesn't turn out to be the way that it's presented, you know, 10, 15 years down in the future.
but wouldn't it be all the more reason if we would go that direction, the variance would go with the property, to add that stipulation about, not using it as retail in case down the road he does want to sell?
And that was my thought, Mr. Zell, was
Yeah. Yes,
that way, if it ever moves to retail, they would come in and ask to remove that condition.
Yes.
Which would give this board a chance to look at it and say, all right, well then how many parking spaces do you need?
Yeah.
And maybe attach conditions.
yeah,
And so you could examine that instead of,
Right.
it started out as a plumbing business and then it becomes a restaurant in 20 years.
I think that's a really good safeguard. Is that
Yeah,
something
that's-
you could
yeah.
work with, you think?
yeah.
And I probably shouldn't say this to complicate things, but we've had discussions before of maybe having like a plumbing showroom in the front of it, but after, again, talking to Frank and the planning and parking spaces, that we've kind of just put that off to the wayside for now, because that's just too much at this point. So, yes, we would not have any retail in there, it's just office space.
Okay.
Like I said, the only people that would come in as employees and maybe the one or two people that might pay a bill or ask a question or something like that on the off day. if that
Okay.
makes sense.
I understand, thank you for that. And just if those thoughts change in the future, you just have to get with the plan director, and Frank will let you know what's required to do whatever your thought processes are, because we want you to be successful.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
want you to grow, we want you to have good success with what you're planning to do, honestly, so.
Well, and I would say that usually when we attach it to the business owner, they're not building a brand new building that's purpose-built for business. Usually we attach it, you know, they're putting it in a house that they're repurposing, or they're doing a business in an existing structure. Here you're allowing him to build a brand new business on site and invest that money with the potential that if he ever leaves it, in theory, the new owner might not get a variance to operate a business. And so there, you know, I think if there's concerns, it would be more appropriate to maybe think about adding a condition as opposed to tying it into the owner.
I agree.
Mr. Culp, just an inquiry. So if that property ended up getting rezoned to a commercial district. Would that new zoning supersede any previous land use variance on that parcel?
If the new zoning allowed things without requiring a variance, then they would be able to go under that.
Okay.
That they would have that benefit, because we're attaching this condition to let him do something that the underlying zoning won't allow today. But if that ceases to be the case, then he'll be able to operate under whatever that new zoning is.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Zawadzki, from a petitioner's standpoint, what's the difference between applying for a land use variance and a rezoning? As far as the BZA is concerned, is that a monetary thing that's a different price range, or is it something that we just don't need to consider right now because it's not relevant?
Well, I could explain the differences. Some of the advantages, I think, from the petitioner's standpoint is a BZA land use variance approval. That's a one-body process. They can come here, you guys can approve, and it's over with. They're allowed to do it. For a land use, that's a plan commission function, so they need to apply, get approval from the plan commission, and then go to the town council to also get approval. So that's a two-body process, which is a little more expensive and a little more cumbersome.
Time consuming.
And another part of it is, when you rezone it, let's say you made it C3, that anything in C3 can be put in there moving forward. From our side, if they come in for a variance, then we can tailor that variance and your approval to what we want to see there. So I think there's an advantage on our side, and on their side, I'm coming in for a variance because I believe I meet the 5 criteria that entitle me to a variance. And if I can prove I meet that, then the BZA is supposed to approve my variance.
Right.
Whereas a rezone is a policy decision, and so the council at the end of the day is free to say yes or no based on whatever factors they think are appropriate.
Gotcha.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. That makes sense. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on the verbiage of the stipulation of the condition?
Conditions. There shall be no retail operations. I mean, again, coming back to that again, I mean, that's one of the conditions. Correct? What are you talking about?
Yep.
Well, I think what Mr. Culp was saying, it would be he would suggest that we go, the variance would go with the property owner.
When I was suggesting it would stay with the property.
Yes,
Yeah.
property owner.
No, not the owner,
Not the
just the
owner,
property.
property.
The
Okay,
property.
that's
Yeah.
what I misunderstood you said.
And
just a minute
that's
ago.
what the petitioner asked.
And that's what he asked for, yes.
Since he's spending the money to build that.
I
on this
totally
parcel.
agree. That makes total sense, yeah. I'm with it. I think those were the 2 primary conditions, given that if approved, that obviously the plan commission gets involved and do what they do, so.
Okay, so no retail operations, and then it goes with the property. Anything else? I think that's what we've pretty much discussed.
Yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve if we're ready.
Mr. Chairman, Steve Zell, I'll make a motion to approve docket number BZA-1225-59R5, petitioner being Drew Hunter at 49 North Peru Street here in Cicero. And his request is a land use application that's been submitted concerning Article 3.10 of our zoning ordinance in order to allow a plumbing business with additional retail space in an R5 residential district. Whereas a plumbing business with additional rental space is not permitted use or special exception use in an R5 residential district. Further conditions that we'll put with this in this motion would that the variance, if approved tonight, would go with the property. And number 2, the business shall not conduct any kind of retail business. That's my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Zell.
Mr. Chairman, it's Mike Berry. I second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. We'll have a roll call vote. Harrison Masani. Mike Berry,
I approve.
Steve Zell,
I approve.
and I'm Scott Bukowski. I approve. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah. Wish you the best.
Mr. Masani, I didn't hear your vote.
Approved. All right, we'll move on to the plan director's report that's in our packet.
And you folks are free to leave if you'd like, so if you'd want to stay, no problem.
Good evening, BZA and all in attendance. I have here in front of me this month's version of the director's report. This is for November of 2025. Permit revenue for the month of November this year was $1,699. That brings us up to a year-to-date of $60,560. Excuse me. November of 2024, last year, we were at $5,491 for the month and $58,861 for the year. That's a difference for the month of November, a minus $3,792, and a plus for the year of $1,699. We issued a total of 6 building permits for November 2025. 2 were for within the corporate limits, no new homes there. We issued another 4 out in Jackson Township. 1 of those was for a new home. Estimated cost of these projects permitted is $572,000. I did have one thing that I wanted to bring up in my report. There's a couple of copies of our current zoning ordinance over here. Next month there will be 3 more copies. I may be able to get you some of that throughout the month, but the purpose of that is to go through and make your own mark on whatever the zoning you might think needs a little bit of work or possible modification. Mr. Thomas, who's not here tonight, was kind enough to print those up for us. A little homework for next month. That's my report. Anybody have any questions for me?
Good report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swansky.
Appreciate what you do.
I don't have anything for the chairperson's report this evening. Move on to the legal council report.
Yeah, the one thing I just wanted to mention, which I kind of talked about before we started, and also for the public to hear, is there have been an ongoing effort to scam people by people targeting people seeking zoning approvals. This is not just from the town of Cicero, this is nationwide. What people are doing is they are seeing these petitions, because we have to have legal notices, and they're using that information to either by email, or phone, or text to send realistic looking invoices. They go onto the website, they will cut and paste our logo, they will get the name of our planning director and cut and paste that, and it all looks very official, and they will ask people to wire them money. And so what the town has done is made clear, we've got it posted on our website, and have been telling people, we will never ask anyone to wire us money. You know, our fees, you're told up front, and we accept a check. No wire transfer. If you receive this kind of communication, it is an attempt at fraud. Please notify Frank. Please notify the police department. You know, sometimes these letters are asking for $3,000 or $4,000. You know, as you know, our fees are about $320 or so, $320 for a petition.
Yeah.
But they're very good at trying to mimic things. Now, Frank has taken some action, such as not having phone numbers, emails, and things like that on the notice, so that people can't use that to target somebody seeking a variance. You know, but they've actually been using the public notice requirements against us to try to go after and target people. One of my other clients had somebody who wrote a $4,500 or made a $4,500 wire transfer, and they figured it out the next day, but it was too late, and the money had already passed through the account it was sent to, and so they're just out that money. And so I'm just trying to raise some awareness about this, so hopefully we can prevent any of our constituents from falling into that. And that's all I had.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cole. Board member comments? Mr. Masani? Just kidding. Anybody have any comments from the board?
I was just going to say that, you know, we talked about it a little bit before the meeting, but, you know, Harrison and I have, our terms are up at the end of the year. I'm willing to continue on the board. If you all are okay with that, as well as the council is okay with that, so.
I thoroughly enjoy both of the members and your questions, company on the board, and value their input. I would hope that as long as they're willing, they resign for another term if it's able to be done.
And you notice I didn't even bring it up tonight. You're probably shocked, Mike.
Well, it is, it's only 11, so.
Yeah, that's decided to give it a break tonight.
All right, our next plan zoning, Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is scheduled for January 22nd, 2026.
Okay.
And with that, I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Harrison, aside.
Thank you, Mr.
And I'll second that.
All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.